Hello, everyone, and welcome to ROKStudios. I'm Stan Miller. I'm the PR and Analyst Relations Manager for Rockwell Automation in the EMEA region. And I'm here with Richard Holmes. He is an Information Solutions Selling Executive with Rockwell. Richard, welcome to the studio.
Hi, Stan. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And thank you for joining us. We're excited to talk with you today because our topic is about addressing workforce challenges and streamlining processes with a cloud-based MES. So we're talking about some interesting technology, and we're also talking about some interesting potential outcomes. So let's get to it.
Let's try.
All right. So just to get us started, how does a cloud-based MES, right, configurable, modular, how does that help manufacturers address operational challenges, streamline processes, and achieve a quicker return on value?
I think my first answer to a question like that, Stan, is you're kind of hitting the nub of the value in how you position the question, really. For a lot of years, businesses have become more educated in and more acceptance of a shift of enterprise systems to a cloud service. We all carry a miniature computer in our pockets nowadays. We have very much live in that Star Trek telecommunicator type of lifestyle. In more recent years, you've seen that approach to modularity, flexibility, dynamism sort of shift across businesses and shift not just from the carpeted space, where the traditional functions like finance, sales, marketing are conversant with using business applications, but it's filtering down now as an approach and a technology set into the production floor, into the warehouse, into the goods yard, into elements that historically have never been considered. And the driver behind that, well, there's multiples. There's economic, there's one of perceived risk, there's one of perceived skills, either competencies, shortages, and we mentioned that flexibility and dynamism. There's a speed of return on investment. We all now live in a world where we download an app and we expect immediate gratification from it. We expect immediate value from that. And there is absolutely no reason why the factory floor should expect anything less than that today.
Can you share a specific use case where a cloud-based MES has been successfully implemented and discuss some of the benefits experienced? And it doesn't have to be a super specific example. It can be high level or generic, but what comes to mind when I ask you that?
I think I can give you a couple of examples. There's a heck of a lot more. We could probably spend all afternoon, all day talking about examples. But from a cloud-based MES perspective, you look at where businesses need to react quickly. So we have examples where clients are potentially reshoring operations or quickly expanding through either new site projects or through acquisition. And there's a need to get all aspects of the business on a level playing field. We talk about the value of data, but data means nothing unless you can put it in context, you can have access to it at the right time, and you can rely on the accuracy of that. Being able to deploy a manufacturing execution system or some subset, some module within that type of framework quickly and effectively means that you can see an immediate impact on the business. Now, that could be increasing quality in the products that you're manufacturing. It could be improving some of the key statistics that are important to increasing your productivity. So metrics around OEE, which we talk about a heck of a lot. It could even be in looking at the performance of the assets that are on your factory floor. And in an ideal world, we want to treat all these sorts of scenarios in a holistic sense. We don't want to create further challenges for ourselves. So businesses are mindful that they need to respond quickly to customer requirements. So again, historically, you may have paper-based systems where, say, in food and beverage, you are required to submit an audit to your downstream customers. provide proof that you can do a mock recall on an ingredient or a product. Traditionally, it could take a quality team a week to go through that process. Yeah. What value is there in being able to do that almost automatically and in a matter of minutes? It frees that quality team up to focus on the job at hand, the products that you are manufacturing today, and support your operational team. We all know about challenges in the workforce with, an aging workforce, workforce change. The employment market's getting more competitive week by week almost. So how do you capture and retain that IP that's in your key workers? How do you disseminate and share that to the staff that you have coming in, your apprentices, your new starters? How do you make those teams more dynamic? And that's another great example where we see the rapid deployment of business applications at an operational level, supporting more dynamic production and operation teams that, instead of being focused on one task, now have to be able to be deployed across an operations. So it's all about quality, productivity, capturing and retaining the knowledge that you've got, and also empowering your workers. Yeah.
Those are all really compelling examples. Let's talk about how manufacturers can integrate their production planning with supply chain planning using a cloud-based MES.
Yeah. So out of all the challenges and some of those use cases that I've just referred to, one of the things that I've seen in my work with customers and clients is that regardless of location, size, industry, we see it on the news today. Supply chains are global now. There is a decreasing, a smaller proportion of businesses that source locally and only locally and aren't impacted by global supply issues and trends. You look at one extreme, the electronics industry. All it takes is for one consumer manufacturer to release a new product, and all of a sudden, components can go into not just weeks, but months, possibly even years lead times. So if you can have visibility of your upwards supply chain, if you can use that information, and notice I say information, not data, but contextual information, and start to bring it into and factor it into your production planning, then it allows you to get on the front foot with addressing some of the challenges that historically, again, you probably put teams of people onto in the past to try and address and find your way around. It allows you to retain potentially better control over what sites, what lines are scheduled to produce what products, and fundamentally, that has a massive impact downstream in maintaining and supporting the contracts that you have to deliver to your own customers and clients, maintaining and meeting your own quality issues, because from a supply chain issue, you're not scouring the region or the globe for substitute parts that you then have to revalidate into the design or the versioning of the product that you're manufacturing. So, put it quite simply, supply chain planning becomes a viable option to bolt onto the production planning systems that you use today. And again, if you take a modular platform approach to that, you can start to address potential issues in complexity and risk that you might have in taking disparate systems and trying to mesh them together to do that.
Richard, you talked earlier about workforce. Let's dig into that a little bit more. In the context of workforce challenges, how can a cloud-based MES support operators, capture institutional knowledge, facilitate continuous improvement?
I've worked in multiple industries and segments over my career, and one thing that I would say is the manufacturing sector. One of the things that really jumps out is that a lot of businesses are very good at retaining key staff and promoting from within based on skills and experience. And this is absolutely fabulous. I think we take it far more for granted than potentially we should compared to other sectors. With that, though, comes an element of risk, because a lot of the information that we traditionally captured, it either relies on Joe or Josephine on a production line hearing something that might be out of kilter, seeing something that they know is a precursor to something that's happened in the past. And we talk about responding based on a gut feel. I know that's going to lead to something. That experience, that gut feel, that knowledge that they've gained over 10, 15, 20 years, if you're lucky, it's documented in paper files at a workstation in the plant, if you're lucky. It might be documented on a Word document that's sat in a SharePoint somewhere, if you're really lucky. But what happens when you have natural workforce churn? What happens when you bring in new workers? What happens when you expand your business? Not being able to access that information, not being able to capture that from your knowledge owners at a day-to-day level can fundamentally have a knock-on impact on the quality of the products that you're ultimately manufacturing, and also on the efficiencies of your production systems. So if you can have the support as an operator of a digital solution, something that you can readily access worksheets, SOPs, manuals through, if you can have the support of knowing that there's an up-to-date, validated check sheet that you can reference to help guide you through an operation, that's very akin, very like the sort of value that we take for granted, sat at a desk, working on a business application, whether it be, again, sales, CRM, ERP. There's absolutely no reason why an operator who's not desk-based should not expect to have that similar sort of support to do their job. And the payoff is you can rapidly push skills and experience to your wider workforce. You can engage the workforce that you have so that they perceive the value that they have to give back to the business. And at a business level, you protect yourself from Joe or Josephine retiring and you losing that corpus of information. So there's two parts to it. There's capturing the knowledge that you've got, and there's supporting the operators to make sure that the decisions and the actions they take are absolutely as close to being 100% correct time after time after time after time.
Richard, how does a cloud-based MES contribute to the integration of systems to protect businesses from the risks associated with substandard products and disconnected processes?
I think I've given reference to that throughout our conversation, Stan. And yeah, a cloud-based system, first and foremost, if you have a modular, configurable approach to, as a technology company, how we put our solutions on the ground, metaphorically speaking, you can shorten that project time to deploy an application. So all the great value that we've spoken about, it's more impactful if we can get that to operators in as short a period of time as possible. If we have a 12, 18-month cycle to build something that's unique for one particular customer, that brings in inherent risk in the business. So first and foremost, addressing that risk, modularity, configuration of a solution rather than high customization, reduces risk, increases getting access to that. And again, if we're deploying that from the cloud, we can quickly take that template and deploy to site 1, site 2. We can spread across the business at a line or a plant level, at a department level, as quickly as the customer would like, and far more quickly than if we were deploying in a more traditional on-prem build something specifically for a client. So that's, for me, the key to looking at the de-risk of why we would go Why would we go cloud? The other element is I suppose the scalability. And not just the scalability within one client, but the scalability of a platform. And that links to de-risk as well, because if you have hundreds of clients that are running their business, either key operations, their plant wall to wall, or their full business wall to wall from one platform, then you have a corpus of skills at a vendor level, but also a corpus of skills within that community of users. And certainly from a risk angle and the time to value, I'd look at the value that you gain from a community, that community of users as well, because it all impacts. We're all fundamentally using the same set of technologies. So shared experiences, shared challenges, shared workarounds, that, again, speeds that time to value and time to deploy.
Richard, I don't have any more questions for you. This has been a great discussion. Thank you for joining us in the studio today.
My pleasure, Stan.
And thank you for watching. If you'd like to learn more about cloud-based MES solutions, visit www.rockwellautomation.com.